Turn me up a little bit, or just a little bit more. I got a message that I want to send across the world. Listen, baby.
What's going on? It's definitely been far too long, and for that I apologize. But I just finished doing a live stream, and I was talking about getting new glasses, the excitement of getting new glasses, and what that meant for a nerd throughout my life. And I told the story about how when I was in college, you know, when you go to college and you reinvent yourself, my big reinvention was taking my glasses off. Now there was more reinvention. I also got into comedy and Old English. But the big one was me taking my glasses off. It gave me a level of confidence to feel like I was just on the level with other people, even though I literally couldn't see, which is kind of a wild thing to think about, that I would put myself at such a disadvantage. I would be willing to go blind just for the feeling of not feeling judged for my glasses. And it's kind of a predictor for somebody that might have some issues moving forward with social adjustment and the lengths that you are willing to go to try and make that happen. But it's actually a story that I think ends well, because as you can see, I have glasses before you, and I ended up putting my glasses back on back in 2017 when I moved back here to DC, just because I was sick and tired of dealing with contacts. I did end up getting contacts, but that was always a pain. And I don't know how people are responsible with contacts in their teens and 20s. Like I had a hard enough time in my 20s and 30s. I couldn't imagine with the number of substances that my fingers touched in my teens and 20s, putting that into my eye. I would probably be blind right now, if we're being honest. I would probably be blind. So it's probably all for the best that I didn't get into contacts until later on in life. But it's also interesting too, how when you talk to people, everybody's able to pick and find something that caused them to feel like an outsider, whether it was being too tall or being too short or having red hair. Obviously, some of this is cultural too. If you're in white areas and you are black or Latino or Indian, whatever the case may be, that could be one. The reverse could be true. If you're white in a black neighborhood, that could be the case. Everybody has something, and you realize how uniquely not unique we all are. Like, you realize that it's such a twist of the brain to find ways to make yourself feel other than or like an outsider. I mean, how many times have we heard from the people who we thought were like dead set in the middle of everything, Mr. or Mrs. America? Not literally, but you know, the jock or the popular girl, whatever, who talks about how they felt alone, right? That is just something that we do for whatever reason. But I think the sooner that you can kind of come to grips with how universal that feeling is, then the less power that it has. And the reality that, you know, when I was growing up, my thought was always that it would give me some perspective, like being bullied for having glasses would give me some perspective on life. It would give me a level of empathy for people. It would be a barrier for me never to get, you know, ahead of my skis or too big for my britches, so to speak. I do like the word britches. I try and find ways to use it whenever I can. I thought it would be something that would keep me right-sized mentally, being bullied. And it's something that I think it did do that, but I also think that it prevents me from stepping into my power in a lot of instances in life. I like to have that mindset of humility, and I like to maintain that approach of excitement and youthful exuberance, even though I'm getting up there. even though I got to be careful when I hold my head down, or you might see that spot in the back of my head. Like even stuff like that, even when I'm in the midst of stuff like that, I like to try and maintain that everything is new and exciting, and I have a level of gratitude. And it comes from that time, I believe, of feeling bullied. And that sounds good, but sometimes you need to go with a level of confidence. Like I remember doing stand-up and just being terrified almost every time before I took the stage. And a lot of people say that. A lot of people say that. That's in no way unique. But there are some moments where you need to go out and feel like you are the baddest man on the planet, even if it's not true. And that's why I don't begrudge athletes. Like, you know, when athletes brag and talk about how fast they are, how strong they are, you know, how dope their jumper is, whatever the case, you can't check me or whatever. I understand that, because I like, you have to put yourself in a certain mindset in order to do that thing. Well, performing is a lot like that, but I was never able to put myself in that mindset, which means that I had so much mental gymnastics that I had to go through just to get myself on stage. And don't think that that's not completely divorced from how I spend my time these days, right? I spend my time these days here communicating with you guys. And part of that is situational. I have a young family. As an older American, I waited to start a family. I think that's the way. I waited to start a family. That's how you describe people that are limping up to the elementary school. That's you say, oh, I think I saw your dad in the parking lot. Oh, he'll be in 20 minutes. That's how y'all describe. We waited to start a family. So since I waited to start a family, I wanted to be around for all of these days and all of these moments. And that's one of the reasons why this life works well for me. But another one of the reasons is to not have to deal with the energy and the mental gymnastics that it took just to get me on stage. And that's what I mean when I talk about stepping into your power. There's something to be said for stepping into your power. And I think that somebody who is ungrateful, somebody who has an arrogance about them, I find them to be immensely distasteful just to be around. But I do envy the ability to convince yourself that you can tackle whatever. If in fact you carry that into whatever you do. Everybody doesn't, right? A lot of people put that out there, but that's not actually how they feel inside. But the people that have that feeling inside, I deeply envy that. I think they call it like irrational confidence. The irrational confidence people, oh man, just a day in the life of irrational confidence. I've heard what the saying, the confidence of a mediocre man or mediocre white man is actually how I've heard it said. Yeah. I would love it. I would love it. I mean, really, the things that I could do if I just had that just for like a week. But what I will take is what I have been able to accomplish. I will take the self-awareness of where I came from and the understanding that I can meet people on their level and connect with them from a place of compassion and humility. That I absolutely will take.
Turn me up a little bit, or just a little bit more. I got a message that I want to send across the world. Listen, baby.